and its broader depth, once again good question, across the US on November 1st, 2025. The ruling stream from the stake legal battle over President Donald Trump's March 2025 executive order, which sought to mandate documentary proof of US citizenship such as a passport, birth certificate, or naturalized papers on the National Mail Voters Registration Form administered by the US Election Assistance Commission. This form is used nationwide for federal elections, making the change potentially for reaching Trump's directive framed. It has a safeguard against rampant voter fraud by non-citizen. A narrative is amplified since his 2020 election loss claims, despite studies showing non-citizen voting is exceedingly rare, less than 0.0001% of votes in recent cycles per Brennan Center analysis. Why is the ruling constitutional and practical grounds? At its core, US District Judge Colin Kohler Cotelli's October 31st, 2025 decision permanently blocked this requirement because it violates the Constitution's separation of powers. Article I, Section 4 of the Constitution explicitly grants states primary authority over elections, with Congress holding regulatory oversight via laws like the National Voter Registration Act of the 1993 NVRA, which standardized the federal form without citizenship proof mandates. The President Kohler Cotelli ruled has no direct rule in dictating voter qualification or form contents. This is executive over rewriting company bylaws without board approval. Trump's order directed the EAC, an independent agency, to implement the change, but the judge deemed this an unlawful instruction, as the EAC derives its power from Congress, not the Oval Office. Depth here reveals a pattern similar. Trump's era attempts, like the 2018 Voter Commission that dissolved without fraud evidence, underscore how such policies often serve political theater over substantive reforms. Critics, including voting rights experts, argue the mandate would disenfranchise millions. Up to 21 million eligible voters lack easy access to citizenship docs for 2024 census data, disproportionately affecting low-income, elderly, and minority communities who rely on mail isolated fraud cases. But the judge dismissed this as prevention. How to unfold the legal timeline and mechanics. The saga began most inauguration on January 2025 with the Trump overhaul package including deadline for mail ballots by April 2025. The Democratic National Committee (DNC), joined by groups like the ACLU and NAACP plus 19 Democratic state attorneys generals, e.g. from New York, filed suit in DC federal court arguing in the irreparable harm to voter access. Cotley, a Clinton appointee with a history of checking executive action, e.g. her 2020 bill bans, issued a preliminary injunction in April halting implementation just as states 26 primaries. The case advanced via discovery with plaintiff submitting affidavits from election spike registration errors by 15 to 20% based on pilot tests in Georgia and Arizona. Trump's DOJ defended by invoking the President Take Care clause, faithful execution of laws, claiming the NVRA implicitly allows fraud prevention, but in her 45-page Cotley granted partially summary judgment, effectively killing the provision without a full trial. The ruling mechanics or procedure citizenship box on the form, leaving other EO elements like ballot deadlines for separate challenges in ongoing suits by state like Washington. Depth, broader implication, historical echoes and societal replies. This is not isolated. It is a flashpoint in America's polarized election wars, echoing the 2000 Bush v. Gore Savos and 2013 Shelby County v. Holder Gutting precedents, which spurred state-level suppressions. Depth analysis shows Trump's move has symbolic red meat for his base, with polls Pew October 2025 indicating 65% of Republicans support stricter proofs versus 22% of Democrats. Yet implementation hurdles were always steep. Verifying millions of docs would cost. Win preserve status quo. Voter self-attested citizenship under penalty for perjury but appeals loom. The DOJ could escalate. Majority might reverse, especially post-thought debates extend show voter fraud trending with 1.2 million posts, blending legitimate concerns with Q fixes like the Stalled for the People Act, while highlighting e-tech gaps. Blockchain pilots in Utah shows promise for democracies. Guardrails remaining has prevent on brand whims from and 50 sentence of advice phrased as questions. Here is thoughtful guidance on navigating. 1. Is not it wise to double check your voter list? 2. Should not we all question unsubstantiated? Third, why not educate yourself on the national voter oath? Would not volunteering as a poll worker? Fifth, is not understanding separation of powers. Sixth, should not you contact your state AG if elected? Seventh, why not follow non-partisan sources? Ninth, is not it essential to keep citizenship docs? 11th, why not sign petitions for restoring Voting Rights Act safeguards? 12th, would not reading the full judge's opinion? 13th, why should not we challenge misinformation on social? Why not support local groups aiding others? 16th, would not a personal voting plan? 17th, is not questioning executives. 19th, why not advocate for uniform national standards over patchwork laws? 20th, would not joining a civic app like Vote or Trust is not reflecting on 2026 midterm stage? 22nd, should not we celebrate wins like? Why not explore how Shelby County numbers? 25th, he is not. 26th, should not you prepare for potential appeals by tracking SCOTUS dockets? SCOTUS meaning SC. 28th, would not understanding EAC's role empower calls for? 29, is not it crucial to vote? 30th, should not we question costs of? 32nd, would not empathy for barrier faced communities? 34th, should not you update your address with elections offices annually? 36, would not a fraud hotline tip one? Is not bypassation election commissions a model worth review? Should not we prioritize education? 9, why not read Trump's EO2 critic? Would not community audits to roll ensure accuracy without such suppression? 41st, is not judicial independence? Should not you encourage friends to register if they are eligible? 43, why not explore blockchain voting pilots for future proofing? 44, would not celebrating democracies? 46, should not we demand transparency in all elections? 47, why not volunteer for get out the vote driver? 48, would not cross as? 49, is it not this ruling a reminder to vote? Please like, subscribe and comment. Another is there, that is artful video you can see.
In October 2025, a U.S. federal judge issued a landmark decision blocking a central provision of former President Donald Trump's order that required voters to present documentary proof of citizenship before registration, particularly for individuals who might lack the necessary documentation to prove citizenship. Civil rights organizations, including the ACLU, welcomed the decision. Who holds the power to set election rules? and how those decisions affect voter participation across the country.
Another some photos are there. You will find out what is that. Vote here, your votes matters. Vote 2024. Queue line. Justice will prevail. Your vote matters. Truth in the courtroom. Imagery access matters. Access is protected. AP imagery protected. Unexpected legal fallout. Oh. Hidden court secret. Deeper than you think. Times broader implications. Societal ripples. Echoes of the past. Every vote counts. Another 3 images are there. Constitutional class 2025. Unexpected legal fallout. This is the hidden court secret. Same as the time broader implication. Social replace. Echoes of the vote heavy, vote here, vote 24. Justice will prevail. Truth in the court. Imaginary access matter. Access is protected. AP imaginary citizen probe blocked. Voter registration. Voter access fight. And last is mine. This is request. Please like, subscribe, and positive. Please like. This is the request. Okay, thank you, my dear friend. We will meet next video tomorrow. Thank you very much.